Today we're talking about the 4 tiny habits that highly focused people do after work. To most people, these habits look weird, almost compulsive, but they are the key to unlock deep focus consistently day after day. Let's dive in. The first habit is the sudden break. Highly focused people avoid ending the workday with a sense of completion. They don't leave after finishing a report, answering an email, or writing a batch of code. No, they actively try to leave the last task of their day halfway done, to the point that they might even start a new task last minute just to leave it unfinished. And at first this sounds irrational, but it's actually genius. Why? Because your brain treats unfinished tasks like an open loop, which creates cognitive tension. And that tension removes one of the hardest parts of deep work: starting. This is known as the Zeigarnik Effect. Basically, by leaving some work unfinished, hyper-focused people start the next day remembering way better what they were doing, and they are ready to immediately engage into that work with motivation, purpose, and momentum. That's how they defeat procrastination without even trying. But without the next habit, they wouldn't be able to channel all that energy into a frictionless start, and it's something less than 1% of people do. The second habit is tab closing. Not one tab, not a few, highly focused people end every working day by closing all the tabs on their browser. This might seem contradictory with the first habit at first, but it isn't, because one open loop is useful and provides direction, but 47 open loops are a brain drain and a massive distraction, especially upon starting a new day. This is connected to something called attention residue. Researchers have found that when we leave tasks unfinished and switch to something else, part of our attention remains stuck on the previous task, no matter how hard we try to move on. Which means that as long as a tab is open, your attention never fully resets. So when you open your laptop in the morning and are welcomed by 10 pop-up screens and 25 tabs on your browser, you're starting your day with chaos, with dozens of fragmented intentions competing for your attention. The result is obvious: your brain is overloaded, so of course it struggles to get going. That's why hyper-focused people obsess over tab closing. It's not about digital organization, it's about cognitive closure. It's a ritual that tells the brain, today the workday is over, and tomorrow I'll start the day on my own terms. But even then, there's still one hidden source of friction left. The third habit is the Workspace Reset, which, as the name implies, it's pretty simple. Highly focused people dedicate the last 5 to 10 minutes of work to reset their physical environment back to zero. Everything goes away back to where it belongs. Yes, even the thing that was started and left halfway done. That too. But this habit is much deeper than an obsession with tidiness. Researchers at Princeton found that visual clutter competes for your attention at a neurological level, meaning that even when you think you're ignoring the mess around you, your brain's still processing all of it. The pile of papers, the sticky notes, the half-empty coffee mug. Every single one of them creates tiny amounts of cognitive friction, and individually they seem harmless, but together they create mental noise before work even begins. That's why hyper-focused people treat the Workspace Reset like a transition ritual, because it helps them ready their brain for leaving work and it allows them to start the next day with total clarity, free from the burden of clutter. But there's one final habit that ties everything together, and I personally think it's the most powerful one. The final habit is the shutdown list. Before ending the workday, highly focused people write down 3 things: what they finish, what's still unfinished, and the very first thing they'll do tomorrow. That's it, just 3 lines. But those 3 lines do more for their focus than any productivity app ever could, because they provide cognitive closure. And psychologically, this matters because the brain hates uncertainty. When tomorrow is undefined, your mind keeps trying to rehearse it over and over. So your body leaves the office, yes, but your attention doesn't. And as a result, your brain doesn't get to rest, which is an essential requirement for focus. Writing a shutdown list takes care of this problem. It externalizes the load, and it works. Research on cognitive offloading shows that humans reduce mental strain when information is stored externally instead of actively maintaining working memory. That's why writing things down feels calming. It literally lifts a weight off your mind. And the third line is especially important because it ties up with the first habit. Writing down the first thing you'll do tomorrow, something concrete, specific, and immediate, is a tiny effort that drastically lowers the resistance to start deep work the next day. So, what do all these 4 habits have in common? It's simple. They all reduce friction before the next day even begins. That's what allows hyper-focused people to enter deep focus day after day without relying on motivation. Because they understand that tomorrow's focus starts today. So they manage cognitive residue after working. They deliberately close distracting loops. They reset their environment and they create clean re-entry points for the next day. And in a world engineered to fragment your attention, these small rituals make all the difference. So try them today after work and share your results down below. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.